Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by WFC Bantamweight champion Jeremiah Labiano. Jeremiah,
hey,
how are you?
What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Jeremiah, are you ever going to change your nickname from the Kid to the Man? Because Joe Soto, he said you hit more like a man than you do a kid.
I don't know. I mean, eventually, but I've been looking like I'm 19 since I've been 19. So I'm 28 now. So I'm aging pretty well. So
right,
it might stick around for a little while.
Right. I had no idea you were 28. I looked it up yesterday. I thought you were more like 21, 22, somewhere in that range.
Oh man, I wish I was that age again.
Yeah. You got a nice stash going. I really like that. You look like Zorro.
I cut it off now. I'm all clean cut now.
Oh, okay. How about the haircut? What do you call that? Do you call that like a mullet, or what do you call that? When you go to the barber, what do you call that?
My hair just kind of has a mind of its own. It just kind of evolves every time I go back into the barbershop. Yeah, it's kind of like a mohawk / mullet / comb over. It's kind of a little crazy. I just get bored with my hair sometimes, so I feel like I have to, change it up every now and then. So I'm trying to grow the mullet back. When I first debuted pro, I had a pretty sweet one, so I'm trying to grow it back right now.
Your next fight is going to be on August 6th at Tachi Palace Fights 24. Before we start talking about that fight, let's talk about your last fight at WFC 11 against Tyson Nam. That was back in September of last year. You won the fight by unanimous decision in a very entertaining fight, a back-and-forth fight. That second round, I thought you were a goner, but you were able to recover and finish out the fight strong. I'm just curious, overall, how pleased were you with your performance in the fight?
I was very pleased, to be honest. Not a lot of people can stand up after almost getting knocked the fuck out, basically, and fight another another fight. Basically, 15 minutes. You got another 15 minutes. You gotta get a fight. And I stood up, brushed it off, and I decisively won that fight. I didn't see him do anything else other than knocking me down in the second round and punching the shit out of me for a good 2 minutes on the floor.
So, before they read the judge's decision, there was no doubt in your mind that you had won the fight, because the scorecards were pretty close, and I thought it was pretty clear that the only round you lost was the second round.
Yeah, I was pretty confident. He didn't do. It didn't seem like he did a lot after he knocked me down. I think you kind of broke him when you give it your all to try to finish someone and you don't. Kind of takes away a lot of your energy. And I mean, he hit hard, and he probably kind of broke that he just couldn't finish me. So, and he coasted, and you can't coast in the championship fight, and that's where I made it count.
One thing that really impressed me a lot, and I hope you keep doing it because I think that one day you're going to land it and get a knockout, was that low kick to high kick that you throw up the front leg. I love that. That's such a underutilized technique in MMA, so I hope you keep throwing that. I was very impressed with that, but also I was impressed because considering your last fight against Joe Soto didn't go your way, this time around, that real long, drawn-out 5-round fight, I think that was really good for you. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. It was a big learning experience for both fights. With the Joe Soto fight, he's a veteran. He was the former Bellator champ. He went on after he beat me to fight TJ Dillashaw for the title. So it was a very good learning experience. That I had him knocked out. He told me I had him knocked out. And he doesn't even know how he won that, how he came back and won that fight. And basically, it was all the experience. He had a lot of experience, and he made it count. I was still young in my career and stuff. And in the Tyson Nam fight, you get knocked down in the second round, and you just gotta stand up and win the fight. So I think my last two fights I've been put into the worst positions possible that you can ever be into in a fight, and get better from it.
Now, this time around on August 6th, Tachi Palace Fights 24. You're going to be taking on Jared Papazian. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
Jared, you can't overlook anyone. It's MMA, anything can happen. Jared's tough. I mean, he's a UFC vet. Also, he's a UFC vet. He has a lot of experience, but I'm young. I'm hungry. You know, there's a new generation, a new breed of fighters coming up, and you know, I'm that guy. I'm gonna come in there, and you know, I've been working a lot of, you know, different things. And every fight, if you keep up with my fights and if you watch my fights, I get better every fight. So, and this fight's gonna be no different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm with you. Not only do you get better every fight, you're never in a boring fight. Every fight, whether you win or lose,
absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, we're entertainers too. You gotta make the crowd happy and stuff like that. But I guess that's just the way I fight. You know, I don't go in there and, you know, I'm gonna entertain the fans. I'm gonna entertain the fans. It just happens, you know, my style is just entertaining. Mm-hmm. And I come to fight. I don't come there to, you know, just try to score points and win. I'm coming in there. I'm going to try to finish you. I'm going to try to choke you out. I'm going to try to knock you out of my hands. I'm going to try to kick your head off. I'm going to try to rip your leg off.
Now, I'm just curious, where are you training in preparation for this fight? Because I know your home gym is Crispin BJJ, but I know in the past you've went down to King's MMA and got some work in with those guys. I'm just curious, getting ready for this one, where are you training?
Yeah, my home gym is Crispin BJJ in Pleasanton, California. I do all my training there. Crispin is very good friends with Rafael Dos Anjos, so that's why I would stop by in there when I was in town. So I went down to a seminar, a martial arts seminar, Jean-Jacques Machado seminar with Crispin, I think about a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was down over there sparring. And the last time I've only been there twice and sparred with those guys. Just trying to, you know, get a different feel of, you know, other people, how they train, and kind of gauge and see where I'm at, you know, as a professional athlete.
Now, in February, you were supposed to have a fight against Rolando Velasco at Tachi Palace Fights 22. You withdrew from that fight due to injury. I'm just curious, what exactly was the injury, and how serious was it? Was it very serious, or just serious enough to prevent you from fighting back in February?
You know, honestly, I don't like pulling out of fights, but, you know, it was a big fight. It was for the belt, Tachi, and I needed to win. I needed to win my next fight to, you know, even get a shot to getting into the UFC or any other big organization. And I had a partial tear in my MCL, so pretty much I have the same thing that Rafael Dos Anjos got after his fight. You know, I had a partial tear in my MCL, so, you know, I couldn't do any movements with my legs. I couldn't do any, like, transitions and stuff. I couldn't grapple. I couldn't kick. And, you know, it even hurt just to stand. And so there was no way I could have taken that fight.
Was that the first time you had an injury like that, or have you had similar injuries?
That was the first fight I've ever had a major injury. I've never, you know, I've had cracked ribs. Actually, before the Tyson 9 fight, I popped my rib 2 weeks before that fight. And, you know, I tried my best to rehab it and stuff like that, and I still fought that fight. So, but as far as, you know, knee injuries, you know, those things are no joke. You know, you don't want to go into a fight with, you know, a partial tear in any of your ligaments and go in there and end up blowing your knee out and having to sit out for, you know, a whole year. So right. I didn't want to risk anything like that, and so I decided to not take the fight.
Right. Now, coming up on August 6th, you're going to be fighting, like I mentioned earlier, Jared Papazian. There's also another bantamweight fight on the card. Rolando Velasco, I think he's fighting Jason San Diego, or I think that's who he's fighting.
Josh San Diego.
Josh San Diego. Sorry. I was thinking Carmen San Diego, but yeah, that fight is also on the card. Now, there's usually always some sort of chaos. There's usually always some sort of mix-up to the card. Richard Goodman always has to, at the last minute, scramble to try to keep fights together or make new fights when fighters drop out or fights completely drop out. I'm just curious, if they offer you a title shot, whether it's against San Diego or against Velasco, will you take it? Would you be interested in stepping up? Because I gotta believe that they're coming to you if one of those two guys drops out, because you are the WFC champion and own the other best belt to have in that region. So if one of those guys drops out, would you step in and take that fight on short notice, even though it is a 5-round title fight?
You know, as a fighter, yeah, you know, I'd be willing to step into the fight. You know, I feel like my conditioning is very good right now. My weight's good. Everything. The training camps were the best training camp I ever had. But it'd be something I would sit down with, with my manager, my head coach Chris Beam, and talk to them about it. But definitely, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's the Tachi belt. My second shot at it should have been mine.
You recently tried out for season 22 of The Ultimate Fighter. Even though you fight at Bantamweight, you still tried out for that show, which was, at the time, a lightweight and welterweight season, but now they've changed it to just a lightweight season. But you tried out for that show anyways. I'm just curious as to why. Why did you try out for that show? Because the show was casting fighters in a weight class 2 weight classes above the one you fight in. Was that more of something where you just went to the tryouts to showcase yourself and make sure that the UFC knows your name and get in front of them and meet all the right people? Or did you actually really want to be on that show? Why exactly did you try out?
No, exactly. It was kind of a win-win situation for me. If I did make the show, great. It's an opportunity, to get into the UFC through the Ultimate Fighter. And if I didn't, I at least I got to show face. I made it all the way to I made it to casting. So they made one more cut. And the only reason why they didn't keep me is because I didn't actually fight 155. They said I was better than a lot of the guys that they chose to keep on the show. The producers love me. Actually, the producer owes me $20 for the Manny Pacquiao fight that we bet on before they sent me home. So I got to track him down somehow. But no, they wanted to keep me, but it was just because I wasn't a 155er. Obviously, if I did make the UFC or I went through that route through the 155, I would end up dropping. But yeah, I just wanted to show face and show that I do have the skills to compete at the highest level.
I see. Because there was a rumor going out there that the reason why you didn't make it on the show was because you're too good looking, and the people who would be tuning in on Fox Sports 1 wouldn't be able to relate to such a good looking guy.
Well, that's another big thing. I actually did tell them in interviews they need more pretty motherfuckers like me on the show. Quote unquote. That's exactly what I told the producer.
Nice. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the second time you tried out for that show. Originally, you tried out
for Tough 18.
Yeah.
I made it all the way to the interview, and unfortunately, I didn't pass and make it to the casting.
Now, on that season, that was the Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate season, the 135 women and men. I'm just curious, that season, 2 guys failed to make weight, Cody Bollinger and Anthony Gutierrez. Did you watch any of that season? And when you saw these guys, how did you feel about that?
I watched a couple episodes. I don't watch much TV, but I was pretty upset when I first heard about the fighters going in there not making weight, and it's just unprofessional. I mean, out of all my 10 fights, I've never missed weight, and even in my amateur fights, I've never missed weight. So to be given an opportunity to compete at the highest level, the UFC, and you don't make weight, that's disrespectful, to the organization. That's disrespectful to all the other people that wanted to be on that show and have the skill and have the drive to compete on the UFC. It just kind of sucked to see those guys do that kind of thing.
Right. Speaking of weight, you don't even really look like a bantamweight. When I see you fight, you look like a 55er or a 170-pound guy. You look very, very big for the weight class. I'm just curious, how much weight do you actually cut to make 135?
Let's just say I walk around anywhere between 165 to 175 if I get really sloppy. But yeah, I'm just a big boy. I got big legs and I'm tall.
Right. Now, is 145 in your future? Do you see that down the road?
I mean, eventually I can see myself fighting 135. I mean, 145 later on down the road. It just kind of all depends on how my body is reacting to the weight cuts as I'm getting older and stuff like that. But to be honest, every weight cut I've done, they're not fun for sure. I don't think anyone likes cutting weight, but it's definitely gotten easier each time I cut to 135.
Jared Papazian is a UFC vet. The 2 previous fights you've had, the fight against Joe Soto, like you mentioned, you fought Joe Soto, and then after that fight against you, he made the jump to the UFC and fought against TJ Dillashaw for the title. Then your last fight back in September was against Tyson Nam, and at one point in time, the UFC wanted him badly, Bellator wanted him badly, World Series of Fighting wanted him badly. All these organizations really wanted to sign him because he was just coming off of a great knockout win against Eduardo Dantas, who was the Bellator champion at the time. They didn't fight in Bellator, they fought in Shooto, Brazil. They fought outside of Bellator, but still, at that time, Dantas was the champion. So I'm just curious, are those the only guys at this point in your career that you're open to fighting? Are you only open to fighting the guys who are big show veterans? Are those the only guys that you're interested in fighting, or are you still interested in taking on all comers?
Yeah, you know what? It's all a business at the end of the day. You know, I want guys that are going to, shoot me up into, the big show. I mean, I'm not here to fight, a guy that's 1-2 or debut or 0-8. I want to fight the best guys. I want to show that I deserve to be in to compete at the highest level possible.
Mm-hmm. This is probably a tough question to answer, but what do you think Jared Papazian's camp is telling him to do against you in this fight? Because obviously he's breaking down your old fights. His camp is watching all your old videos of past fights. They obviously are doing their research and putting together a good game plan to fight against you, but you're a very well-rounded fighter. You're good standing up. You're good on the ground. You always come forward. This is a very tough matchup for anybody, let alone Papazian. So what do you think his camp is telling him to do against you?
You know what? I'm a tough fight. I'm a tough fight for anyone. I'm well-rounded. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I have very good jiu-jitsu. I have very good stand-up. I think I have three knockouts. TKOs or knockouts, and my professional record. The guys that I fought, they know I hit hard. They know I'm a tough grappler. They know I'm a big guy. So, I don't know what Jared's doing to prepare for this. It's going to be a tough fight for him.
Mm-hmm. What do you think a win on August 6th does for you? I know it's a very hard question because you never know what the UFC is going to do. You never know who they're looking at, and you never know when they need somebody. Because usually the guys who are getting signed are usually short notice replacements. So it has to be something where the stars all align and they need a short notice replacement at a weight class that you can fight in. So you never really know what they're going to do. But I'm just curious, what do you think a win on August 6th does for you? Does it get you that opportunity to fight in the UFC? Is this the fight that's going to propel you into that organization? Or do you think that this is just another win, another step in the right direction, another building block you can use to eventually make that jump to the UFC, and maybe after this fight get a title shot and get another chance to claim the TPF belt? So I'm just curious, what do you think a win against Papazian on August 6th does for you?
Hopefully I don't even have to fight for the Tachi belt. Hopefully they'll finally pull the trigger and sign me to the big show, and be able to showcase my talent on the biggest platform of MMA.
Mm-hmm. Right now, you're doing the right things, you're fighting good competition, you're putting on exciting fights, you're on Twitter, you're hounding Sean Shelby, you're doing everything you need to do to make that jump to the UFC. But I'm just curious, have you ever had a face-to-face meeting with Joe Silva or Sean Shelby or anyone from the UFC? Have you ever talked to them face-to-face? Have you ever been able to get in front of them and sell them on why they need to sign you?
Never had a conversation one-on-one. I've just, been in the room during the interviews, and we go back, my management team and instructor, my head coach goes, is in contact with them, and they know who I am. So I'm very close to, getting in there. Mm. And I hope August 6th I can show everyone that I deserve to be in the UFC and compete at the highest level.
Now, Jeremiah, we'll end on this. It's a little segment I like to call Really Random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made for you, and some of these questions are just random ones I ask everyone. So here we go. First question, superpower you'd love to have.
Superpower. Invincible. Be invincible.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. What's my favorite movie? Half-Baked.
Movie you've seen the most times?
Bloodsport.
I'm just curious. You have a lot of tattoos. You're a tattoo collector, I guess you could say. How many tattoos do you have? Do you even know?
Well, I have 2 full sleeves, so both my arms are covered, and pretty much just my whole front body. So I got 2. I mean, I guess you can say 4 tattoos. 4 big ones.
When do you get another tattoo? Like, do you get a tattoo after you fight? Because I know Antonio Banuelos, he gets a tattoo after every fight because then he has that time to recover from getting the tattoo, because during the weeks that he would get that tattoo in, he could recover from the fight, and then when he returned to training, he'd be recovered from the tattoo because it's very painful to do that. So I'm just curious, when do you get another tattoo? Because you have a lot, so what's the process of you getting others and adding on to your collection?
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I hate getting tattoos. They hurt every time. Anyone who tells you that a tattoo doesn't hurt is lying to you. It sucks. I've just been working on big pieces, so I'm just going in and trying to finish, as much as I've been working on in the past, couple of years and stuff. So not much of a really tradition to get tattooed after a fight or, to celebrate anything. It's just more just trying to get in when I can, because I'm training all year long, and, you don't want to go and train on the mat with a fresh tattoo.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite one?
I would say my sleeve on my left side, which is sleeve of a snake. Traditional Japanese.
Best thing that ever happened to you?
Best thing that ever happened to me? What is the best thing that ever happened to me? I don't know. Graduate college.
Do you still play paintball?
No, I don't.
Oh.
My last season was in 2010, I believe.
Okay. Now, maybe you don't follow the scene at all, but is paintball still popular? Because I was driving down the road and I was just thinking to myself, and I was going past this place where, in my area where people used to play paintball, and I've never seen anyone there again. Is that even popular nowadays?
It's pretty I don't know how it is now, but I think it's more popular in, areas like Southern California. Mm-hmm. There's still a big population of guys that are playing out of Northern California, but they're all based out of the Sacramento area and stuff like that. But I think it's bigger in, Southern California and other parts of, the United States. There's just no money in it, competing and stuff like that. It's just more of something you do for fun.
Okay. I was just curious about that because I know you used to be a pro, and I haven't really heard about anyone maybe even doing it just as a hobby. I haven't heard of that in a very, very long time. And I'm only 22, so it's not like I'm ancient. So
yeah, I got some friends that I started with, and they're still playing, and some of them are still playing professional, semi-pro, and traveling all over the country and competing. And I know that they still have tournaments out in Europe and stuff. They have like different leagues and things like that. So I think they're doing good. Ever since the economy took a crap, it just kind of ruined. It ruined a lot of businesses and stuff like that. But I think paintball took a big hit too.
What's your pet peeve?
Bad breath and long fingernails.
Time period you'd like to go back and visit, and why?
Any time period? Shit. When people used to, I don't even know what year it was, back in medieval times when they fought with swords and no guns.
I'm just curious, whatever happened with XFC? That was a very, very long time ago, but for all this time, I've really wanted to ask you about that because there was, there were press releases and it was this big deal. John Prisco is like, this guy, he's the future of XFC. He's the guy to watch. He's going to be, the next biggest and best thing for our organization. But then he never fought there and it kind of just went away. What exactly happened with that? I know it was a very long time ago, but what happened with them?
So after I won the contract, they sent me the contract. It was something ridiculous. I think at the end of my 5-fight contract, I probably would have only been making $1,500 to fight, and that wasn't going to cut it. And as you can see, that they flopped pretty much. I think they're still over in Brazil. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and so I don't know how that would have affected my contract. So I'd have been locked in there, getting paid pennies for 5 fights or 2 years. So we just thought it would have been a better decision to not sign with them and get locked in.
Right.
It's worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. They're under new management and they don't even come to the U.S. anymore. So
Exactly.
yeah. John Prisco doesn't even run it anymore, so you definitely made a good deal there. Good move on your part. Person you look up to the most?
Person I look up to my most, probably my mom and my head instructor, Chris B. You know, my mom raised, two boys on her own. She was a single mom. Worked hard to give us, the best life that we could give. And I met Chris Beam when I was just about to turn 22, and he gave me the gift of jiu-jitsu, and it's changed my life a lot.
This might be a weird question, but do people ever confuse you for Andre Fili? Do people ever tell you that you look like him? Because not recently, but maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I kept getting you two guys confused. You kind of look alike, and then you were both WFC champs, and you were both fighting for Tachi Palace around the same time. So do people ever confuse the two of you? Do you ever get people coming up to you saying you look like him, or he looks like you?
I think we were brothers, separated by birth. Separated at birth. He ended up in Sacramento, and I ended up over here in the East Bay. But no, yeah, it's funny because I was actually having a shirt made for my fight that was going to happen in February, and it was a cartoon character, it was a face, and my designers designed it up, and I was all like, oh, it looks cool. I was like, wait a minute, why do I look like Andre Fili? And I showed all my friends, like, dude, why you got Andre Fili on your shirt? So, no, yeah, she was kind of funny. I mean, we kind of have the same style and stuff like that a little bit, so I can see where people, get us confused a little bit.
Right, and he was interviewing you for the last fight, and I'm like, maybe I'm seeing double here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's a cool cat, He helped pastor me over at the Ultimate Fighter tryouts when I was down over there. And after they gave me the axe, we all went out and hung out at the club at night and stuff like that. So, real cool guy.
Your motto is God, Family, Fighting. I'm just curious, has that been your motto throughout your entire career?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it all came along. One of my video guys, we were doing a video, and he asked me the question, "What would you put in order?" And like I tell everyone, I'm not the best Catholic. Everyone sins. I don't even go to church as often as I should, but you gotta always put God first in your life. As far as that's my belief. You have to always put God first in your life. And then family is always gonna be there during tough times, the good times and the bad times. So family, and then fighting.
Keep making those shirts. I think you're going to make a lot of money with those. I think that's a good motto.
It's funny though, because I've been seeing a lot of shirts that pop up. There was God Family Firearms, God Family Basketball, God Family Football, even the Warriors. It was on Facebook. It said God Family Warriors when the Warriors were in the playoffs. So I'm not saying it's coming from me, but the format and everything. They're stealing my stuff.
Right.
Stealing my swag.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shirt that relates to my life. God, I love God. Family, I love my family. Fighting, I love fighting. That's basically my life. I interview people, and then when I'm not interviewing people, I'm watching fights. Like this last week, there were all those UFC is on, and there was Bellator and all this stuff, and so it definitely relates to my life. So I think if you keep that going, you're going to make a lot of money one day with that.
Absolutely. I'm trying to target everyone too, and it's not fighting in the sense of just right. MMA fight, any fight. Wake up in the morning. Life's a fight. You got to wake up. You got to go to your job. You got to make money. Bad things happen. You got to overcome it, and that's a fight. That's a fight itself.
Right.
Fighting in the cage is easy. It's easy. Right. You show up. You throw some punches. The worst thing that can happen to you is you lose. It's harder to wake up every day, go in there, get your ass kicked, have to teach class for the rest of the day, wake up, do it again, get hurt, have to pay your bills, got to do all this stuff. So, the fights, the cage fighting is easy.
Best advice you were ever given through life, and best advice you were ever given through fighting?
Best advice in life. In life, don't bite the hand that feeds you, and in fighting, it sounds so cliche, but never give up.
What do you worry about? What's something that keeps you up at night?
I'm a pretty good sleep. I sleep fairly well. But when it comes towards fight time, you just got a lot of things. You got a lot of things on your mind. Me personally, I get very emotional when it comes towards the fight. It's almost like you're ready to die. Basically, you're going in there, you're putting your life on the line, and you see all the little things in life that we all take for granted and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that would really keep me up if I can't sleep at night.
Right. What's the number one thing on your bucket list? What's something besides fighting in the UFC that's on your bucket list?
On my bucket list, I mean, travel the world. Have the opportunity to travel all over the world, with my girlfriend.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
What would I change? Just people being selfish. Just selfish people. Just in the sense of everyone should be able to eat and everyone should be happy and make money and do everything that they love and without the sacrifice of others.
Last question, Jeremiah. What's your hidden talent?
A hidden talent? I don't know if there's much of a talent, but I can fart on command.
What?
It was just kind of something that I stumbled upon when I was younger. So I just farted on all my friends and stuff when I was younger. I was just able to gather air and push it back out.
You can fart on command. That is,
I can fart on command.
I've heard it all now. I've heard it all. I never expected to hear that one.
There's gonna be a public interview, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh shit.
Oh,
whatever.
Because most of the people I interview say that they don't have a hidden talent, so I just say, oh, well, it's still hidden. You gotta uncover it. But I'm just curious, have you ever farted in a fight?
Not that no, I don't think I have.
No. Okay.
Maybe August 6th. August 6th.
All right.
Are you gonna be at the fight?
No, but I'll be watching. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
I'll be watching.
You were in the crowd and you said, do it.
Yeah.
There'd probably be a good chance.
Yeah. Very interesting hidden talent. I wasn't expecting that one at all. Well, anyways, Jeremiah, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I've had a lot of sponsors that have been supporting me since I started fighting pro. Let me see here. I'm trying to think of all of them. Well, first and foremost, I want to shout out my team, Christian BJJ Baja Brothers out in Pleasanton, California. You got the best coach, man, best jiu-jitsu guy, best striker guy. He just has so much knowledge. And yeah, shout out to my team. Shane's Barbershop in San Mateo. DC Auto Club. Inky's Tattoo Shop, Cairo Sports USA, Lana's Egg Whites, Strike First Nutrition in Pleasant Hill, Action Pro Gear. They supply me with all my equipment, my sparring equipment, all the Fairtex equipment, the action equipment that I use. On Time Signs, Rose Motor Cars in San Ramon, California, Intero Real Estate, Lee Stuffnit, and Mount Tech. And those are all my sponsors. And just to all my fans, if you hate me, love me, it's just part of the sport. I love you all, and just thank you for supporting me and believing in me and just being by my side, when you most need it. So thank you very much, and thank you for having me on your show and interviewing me, giving me the opportunity to talk to everyone.
Jeremiah, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck August 6th at Tachi Palace Fights 24 against Jared Papazian.
Look, it's for the unprepared, but thank you, brother.